Hey guys, I'm Pat Thompson, a freelance graphic designer and illustrator, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my Mascot logo design process. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here I am on Procreate, and I've just inserted a photo I found online of this Greek god statue, and I decided to use this as a reference image because I haven't really done a Greek god style logo before, and I thought it'd be something nice and different as animals seem to be the popping trend in Mascot design at the moment. So here I am, just sort of highlighting the key areas of the face and just sort of getting the proportions right. And then, as you can see, with like the hair and the beard and things, I'm not even close to sticking to the actual structure of the image. I'm really sort of trying to bring out these features and exaggerate them and sort of go a bit crazy with them, really, just to make sure the logo and the main shapes of the logo are really outstanding, as they are sort of the bread and butter of the design. So here I'm just sort of going over the outskirts and sort of really bolding up these lines, firming out the shapes, making sure I know exactly where I'm going to be drawing these shapes later on in Illustrator. I will just say you don't have to do this on Procreate. You could just be working or tracing off a sketch that you've printed out with the A4 paper, as long as you can photograph something and pop it into Illustrator at the end. And see, now I'm just going over these shapes with this little green line just to work out exactly where I'm going to have the secondary part of these shapes, which will make up the shading and highlights. As I like to build my logos in all these different layers which will come together and compose the final design. So now I'm going to move over into Illustrator and just set up a new document in landscape A4. Just it's a nice base point to work from. I'm just going to change the settings to view, show grid and show rulers, just because it's how I like to work. You don't really need them on for what we're doing here. But most importantly, to make sure the color mode is set to RGB, as most gamer logos are going to be pretty much purely displayed on screen, and so you want to get the most out of those colors. Here I'm just importing my drawing onto Illustrator, nice and big, and I'm just going to drop the opacity down to around 40%. Just get it nice and centered at a good size so I can work easily with it, and then just go Object and Lock Selection so that it doesn't move around. I don't accidentally click on it when I'm working on it. Now I'm just going to head over to the pen tool on the left and start to trace around all these shapes that I've made. You want to stick to them more or less, but if you see a way you can sort of make the a line a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner, then don't be afraid to just go for it. Now I'm just about to start going over these green lines, and I'm not making enclosed shapes where I was with the parts worked out with the purple pen. Here I'm just making sure I touch the edges of the background shape, just to make sure I can join them up later. So once you're done tracing, you can go ahead and unlock that layer behind it and delete it, as you won't be needing that anymore. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and select all the lines you've just created, and then head over to the Shape Builder tool and click on every individual shape, just to make sure it now forms its own shape. So when you start adding a fill colour, things aren't messy and everything sits how it's shown with the lines. So as you can see here, just adding the fill, removing the lines, and then everything is in its own shape, ready to be removed or have its colour changed. Here all I'm doing is just popping in the colour palette I selected earlier and then creating a nice big shape to centre back and have as the background for the logo. So now I've just got onto the text stage, and I've just decided to name this God, as he looks like a bit of a Greek god himself. And then I've just gone into effects and gone to rise, as it kind of matches that bottom curvature of the beard and the hair. And I feel like I could almost use it to sort of form something that almost resembles the beginning of his body. I will just add, I'd probably never manipulate text like this in sort of a commercial piece of branding or a logo outside the gaming industry, but you can kind of get away with being a little bit crazy and doing some wacky things within the gaming world. All of this is just more little bits of manipulation to get things to fit and look nicely. And then I've just gone to object and expand the text to make it its own shape. And then I'm just using the direct selection tool to just bring these points in a little bit, just because I think it will probably balance the logo a little bit better once I start putting that classic Mascot style outline on things. This is where things get a little bit complicated. All I've done here is gone Command C and Command F to bring up a new version of the logo on top of it. Then I've just headed over to stroke and added an outline stroke. I think it was about 6. Then I've just gone up to object and expand to make it lined like this. Then all I've done is gone over to the Pathfinder option, hit divide, which is the bottom left one, then gone on to the fill colour, added a solid fill colour for the entire thing, then back up to Pathfinder and clicked unite, which makes it this completely enclosed shape as you now see. Now I'm just going to send this layer to the back and then unlock my background blue colour and then send that to back just to get the layers back in the right order. And for this final stage, I'm just going to select that background shape and go over and add a stroke to it. I'm just going to make that a nice little light grey, a similar colour to the hair. And then I'm just going to set this to outline stroke, and then I'm going to bring it up so it's roughly the same sort of size as the gap already between the centre part of the logo and then this line, if that makes sense, giving this nice white border around the entire design. And there we have it. That is pretty much the logo complete. All I've done there is just expanded the appearance and then repeat the same stages as I did for the other part of the background with the Pathfinder tool. And then I can just go ahead and select the right colours that I want. I was going to think about going for the blue for the outline, but I ended up staying with the white. And now as a finishing move, I'm just going to halve the background and create one side is going to be the same grey as the outskirt, and then the other side will be that deep background blue. And that's just how I've decided to finish this one. Sometimes I like to sort of reflect the image onto the background or blur it out or add some lens flares, but it's gone nice and simple and clean with this one. And there it is. That is how I go about creating my Mascot logo designs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video, and please like and subscribe if you did. If you like, you can also follow my Twitch, where you'll be able to ask me questions live. Thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next one.